Good evening and welcome to the couch. It's Thursday. It's Friday Eve. It's the almost end of the week. It's been a long week. But let me just check in with you. Come sit, come sit, come sit. Take up some couch. If you want to sit at the end where there's the armrest or in the middle. I don't know, maybe you like sitting on the floor with your back up against the couch, but come take up some couch and talk to me about your day. How was your day? Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I get that. What were your highs and your lows? Hmm. I can get with that. I can definitely get with that. I feel that. Yeah, I feel all that energy. Hmm. I get it. I get it. I get it. Hmm. Yeah. Well, you know what's even better, more fantastic, is that you get the opportunity to have an even better day tomorrow. Because it's going to be better. By the grace of God, it's going to be better. But thank you for sharing. Because, we have these days where it's like, man, if I can just disappear just for 5 minutes, that's all I need. If I could just go someplace, just be someone else for about 5 minutes, have a reset, I think I'll be okay. You know, when I created the couch, what I had in mind was a place where people can come and get some much needed education or information. But then in my mind, it started evolving into something more than that. I look at the couch as a place where you can come, sit, relax, kick off your shoes, put your worries someplace and not have to worry about picking that back up again. All that stress, all that anxiety, to be able to just lay it down because it's heavy. It's extremely heavy. Now, I know I'm only here once a week, but it's a day you get to look forward to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to the couch. Like this is my day to go to the couch. I'm going to sit and I'm going to vent. I'm going to find some support. I'm going to find my place and my space to just put all this stuff away. And that's what the couch is. The couch is, it's like your couch at home. When you come home from work or wherever you coming from, you get to just sit, chill, put your feet up. If you have an ottoman, relax, binge watch your favorite show. You get to do that. You get to do that and you get to do it in a space that's relaxing. Whether it's you and your favorite person or just you by yourself. You get to do that. It's been a week, but it's been a blessed week. It's always a blessing to be on this side and to be busy. And speaking of, as always, I want to give all honor and glory to God for just allowing me to see another day and for allowing you to see another day, just to have a blessed day. Even though you're stressed, it's like, oh my goodness, this was a hard day, but it was a blessed day because you're blessed to be in this day. And that's okay. That's fine. The job is hard, but at least you got a job. That's fine. It's okay. It's quite okay. You know, the day is almost wrapping, and you get to have a fresh start tomorrow. So we always want to give thanks to him for everything. Thanks to God, praise him for everything he's done, no matter what. Because things could be a whole lot worse. And we just thank God that it's not. When we are in a space, we're stressed, we're lost, we're a little mentally and emotionally misplaced, we tend to do this thing where we crumble, we cry, the fatigue of it all. It's hard, it's heavy, it's like a weight around your neck. We don't know what to do, and we sit in that, whether we have our cry or we isolate, whatever that is. Burnout is a real thing. And we have to learn to lean on not just coping skills, but to lean on our outlets, whether it's jogging, reading a book, journaling, maybe it's calling that friend. That's part of you being able to find your couch, your chair. Finding your chair. Your chair is anything that helps you to relax, calm down, find some peace. A place where you can have a mental and emotional break. Find your chair. Today, I want to help you find your chair. I was watching a show, SWAT. It's the thing that we do when it's dinner time. We sit and we watch SWAT. And if you haven't seen SWAT, go watch SWAT. It's a really good show. I love it. I think we've seen just about every episode, probably more than 3 times. But it's just our thing. It's the go-to. And in this particular episode, there was a jailbreak. And one of the guards, he was new. It might have been his first, second day or whatever on the job, I think. And here's this jailbreak, this riot, whatever. And here's this guy who probably couldn't have been any more than maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe. I mean, not to impugn people who are short. I'm short, but just saying. I mean, he was a little bit of a frail guy. Like, he's new on the job. He doesn't know what to do. I mean, the guards have taken over the system and they've stolen his clothes. But anyway, SWAT comes in. Deacon is one of the characters on the show who's I think is 20 SWAT is their team, but he's there with the guard. Now, prior to all of this, I think Deacon himself had to go to the therapist. Something, I forget, took place, and so he's having to go and kind of get some therapy or whatever. And so the therapist talks to him about finding his chair. And she's like, well, what's your chair? You got to find your chair because he's coming in with all the stuff on him and he doesn't know where to put it. And she's like, you've got to find your chair. He didn't really understand that. And he was like, well, I don't know what my chair is, And him going through his own marital family problems, what have you. And just not knowing where to put this stuff. Because, as people, especially men will carry the bag, and they will carry the bag and carry the bag and carry the bag because they're taught you can't have feelings and emotions and cry. You can't be in touch with those emotions. But what you're really saying is not to be in touch with self. Like there's this separation. And so when they get into these relationships, they create this toxicity because they're not taught how to cradle and caress and nurture, you know? And so you have this guy who, again, who's new on the job, doesn't know what to do. And Deacon is trying to calm him down. He's like, listen, look, he's given him this lesson. Like, I've learned something today. You've got to understand where your chair is. You've got to understand what that is and what that means to you when you're in a situation where you just don't know what to do, where to turn. You're scared, because that was the big thing. He was scared. He's like, you've got to be able to find your chair. And I think Deacon starts to understand now what the therapist was talking about in those moments that he's been scared and afraid to go to his wife because he's the man. He is supposed to be the man. And I think he's starting to get it. And so as he's talking to this guy, he's starting to calm down a little bit, and now he can focus, and they're finding their way through this stuff. Well, long story short, SWAT is always SWAT comes out on top. Well, Deacon talks to Hondo, who is Shamar Moore, and he tells him, he said, I think I know where my chair is. I think I know what that means now. And he's like, it's my wife, it's Annie. She is the person who brings me back down to a level. She's the person who knows what to do when I'm afraid, when I'm scared. And in his mind, it's like, I've got to learn how to allow my wife, my partner, to lead me when I don't know what else to do, when I don't know where to go, when I'm in this place where I'm stressed, I'm tired. She's my chair. She's my place. She's my outlet. She's the person that I lean on. And for you, said person, you've got to be able to find your chair. And I thought about that so much to myself as the week went. It's like, okay, what's my chair? Who's my chair? My chair would be my children, would be my partner, would be God, above all things, scripture. I lean on the gospel. I lean on gospel music. I have to find a place for these things to go. And you have to be able to find a place for these things to go. What's your chair? What does that mean to you? So I want to come on today and talk about self-care. Self-care and finding your chair and what that looks like. Because within self-care, you find that couch, you find that chair, you find that person. So I want to bring some of that to the table and talk about what self-care is, what it's not, maybe some misconceptions and some things that you can do to help the burnout, because burnout is real. I definitely want to do a show one day that talks about Black women in burnout, because that is such a real thing. Not just the physical component, but the mental, the emotional, because there's so much that's wrapped up in that, even relationship burnout. I mean, it's, we become exhausted. But for right now, I want to kind of dive into self-care and what it is by definition. Self-care is the intentional practice of being able to nurture yourself, your physical, your mental, your emotional, even your spiritual well-being. I will say this, and I've said it to my own clients. Yes, you come to therapy to get the things that you need. And me as a Christian therapist, as a therapist who's a Christian, I will impart on them things that God has call them into an order, because you shouldn't be going to bed with your cup empty. You shouldn't be pouring into cups that don't have a bottom, because that is burnout, that is fatigue, it's stressful. Your cup should be filling. As you're emptying, it should be refilling. That's why it's so important to find your chair, because you should never have to go to bed with an empty cup. You should never have to go to bed with all this exhaustion and this weight. And what about that email tomorrow morning from my supervisor, and my kids, their clothes, their school stuff, my partner and all their stuff? And it shouldn't be that way. In the spiritual, what has God called you to do? What has he called you? What does he say? Because he didn't give us a spirit of fear. He didn't give us a spirit of exhaustion. So there has to be an order. If your life isn't built on the foundation of God and who he is, nothing else really matters. Because if you don't have him, then what do you have? Get in your word. Pray the word over you. Find that verse in the Bible. Pray that over you, your family, your home every single day. I make prayer oil for myself, and I will anoint my home. I have to, my family, because I believe energy travels and it sticks to things and to people. So you have to be able to pray those things off of you. Pray before you go to work, while you're at work, at the end of the day, before you go to bed. Because that stuff has to have a place to go. That spiritual well-being is so important. The other thing about self-care is being able to recognize that there is a need, that there's a need for a reset, and taking steps to meet that. Not just be in this survival mode. I hear people a lot. I'm surviving right now. But that's not good. That means you're at this point of exhaustion, and you're about to implode. The top is about to come off the pot. Something has to happen. It's not about just surviving. It's being able to thrive and grow. I get the question sometimes of, well, how do I know when I need the break, the rest? Because some people, they go. They go, 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 go. I think when you become depleted. When you start to feel this heaviness about you, when you feel like, man, I just cannot, when you get to the point to where you're literally saying, I can't do this anymore, you need to stop, take a break, and have a reset. You have to reorganize. Otherwise, when it hits you so hard. For some people, they physically cannot move. Well, that's because they've carried so much for so long. The people pleasing. Well, I have to do this and I have to do that. And this person needs me to do this and this person needs me to do that. Well, yeah, everybody has a need, everybody has a want. But what about your needs and what about your wants? We have to learn to be able to put ourselves first and understand how, when we do for others without putting ourselves inside of the equation, how that affects us. Now, yes, do we need to do for other people? Of course, Bible says we need to help. We need to do that. But also too, within that, have a reset for yourself. Don't work out of depletion. Even for me, when it comes to my kids, my family, it's mom this, mom that, whatever. And I've learned to say, give me 5 or 10 minutes. It's kind of like having what people would call like a 15, 20, 30 minute power nap. Like it just really energizes you. Give me 15 minutes, give me 10 minutes, give me 5 so that I can have a reset. It's how I get through therapy with my clients. When I'm able to end early, I take that 5 minute break. I just sit. It allows my brain to kind of shut down, to recharge, and to have this hard restart. And it's enough to get me going through the next one because I need that. I need that restart. You need that restart. Self care is a very powerful tool to help you reclaim your energy, protect your peace. Oh my God, that is so important. Protecting your peace because people tend to get us out of our characters and we do a lot. We have to be able to activate the thing that helps us to have our peace and to protect it at all times. At all times. We have to be able to give ourselves permission to show up for ourselves fully when it comes to our lives. And that's why I say, even though we do things for other people, what are we doing for ourselves? I have two, well, I have several, but two of the main workbooks that I work out of: the ABCs of self love, and then there's the self love workbook for women. The self love workbook for women actually has a journal that comes with it. You can pair them together. If you decide to get them, you can go out on Amazon. But I love those books because they teach you how to reclaim self. They teach you how to love yourself and put yourself first to do for you because that's what it's all about. That self care, that self loving, that having that self compassion, so important to do. That's what protects the peace. Finding your chair. And we're going to talk about or get into some things that you can do later as we go. But that mental and emotional self-care. So when you talk about dimensions, first, let me just kind of back up a little bit. The domains, the mental, emotional, physical, social, maybe professional domain, but there are different things that you can do, different dimensions when you talk about self-care to explore. So in your mental and emotional self-care, some of the things that you can do: you can journal, you can set boundaries, go to therapy. Then there's the physical, where you look into changing your diet, your sleep hygiene. Are you drinking enough water? Some of your social, spending time uplifting people, because that even motivates you and keeps you encouraged. Saying no. I definitely want to touch on the saying no piece because I think sometimes we live inside of this unrealistic bubble. Again, that people pleasing will have you drowning in a sea of stress and burnout if you're not careful. Some people like to pick up hobbies, paint, draw, the spiritual, read your Bible, go to church, you know, decluttering your space, managing your finances, all these things that you can do to kind of help with peace of mind and protecting your peace. I want to go back to that saying no. That is so big because I get so many people. Well, I don't want to say no, and I know I need to say no, but I'm afraid to because why? I say no every day. Makes me feel good. I was telling someone the other day, I think I discovered my superpower. Like, literally, I have the power to ignore people. I mean, to the 10th, the 100th power. Like, but when I mean and say ignore, I don't mean just like, you know, it goes beyond the not hearing. Like, I straight up, and it's probably bad for me to say, but I will just straight up forget that that person even exists. Like, I'm literally pushing this person like out of my mind. Because here's the thing, when you can discover what your superpower is, which is a great thing, especially when it comes to the terms of saying no, that's going to carry you a long way. Now, I'm the sweetest person that you'll ever come across. If you ask me for $1, I'm going to give you two. But the reason why I bring that up and I talk about that ignore piece in that way, if I don't allow myself to have a shutdown and not worry about who's doing what or who's not doing what, it's going to drive me absolutely insane. Everybody has a need, you know, but there are times where I have to allow myself to be in the zone of saying no sometimes, because that sometimes that saying yes can greatly affect how I feel, who I am, how I function. You know, I've never had this to happen, so I use it as an example. Someone saying, well, Sharita, do you mind driving me to Augusta, which is 2 hours from where I live? And, you know, knowing I just come from work and had to pick up kids, and, you know, maybe I just came from filming, and now this person wants me, well, you don't mind taking me, do you? I told such and such that you didn't mind. So you just, just come and pick me up and we can just go. And it's like, oh my gosh, I could say yes, but then how does that affect me as a person? How does that affect my functionality? I can't be effective for myself. And yes, it makes me feel bad to say no. And let's just say I do it. Now I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I can't get up and do anything. Like, I'm spent. I'm done. But when I say no, even though it's like, I hate that I had to say no, but I've got to say no. Then that saying no helps me to set a boundary. It helps me to set a boundary between me and that person. And I need that because I need that reset. I need that shutdown because I've done so much already. I've got to put myself in a space to where I'm effective for myself and for my family. That's how it affects me. And let's just say it's that same person again, say, hey, can you take me to Augusta, or can you do this thing? It's like, okay, they're calling me, and I've got to learn how to ignore. I've got to learn how to not see it and not hear it. I've got to be able to shut down and have a reset. I've got to learn that people pleasing puts me in the back. And that's not where I want to sit. I want to sit at the front. Then you have to learn how to think about your own feelings and emotions and what that means to you. So when you grab those two books, the ABCs of Self-Love and Self-Love Workbook for Women. Now, I'm not exactly sure if there's a self-love workbook for men, but I'm almost betting that there is one. Go out on Amazon, And I'm almost certain that there's a journal out there specifically for men. These two just happen to be more specific for women. But find you a self love workbook, find you a self love journal, find you any journal, find you any workbook that talks about loving yourself, saying no, setting boundaries. Um, there's a book that I got from Five Below that's called Communication Skills for Healthier Boundaries. That I think is actually at Amazon too. But these self help books are really good to help you to realign yourself with finding your peace, finding your chair, protecting your peace, setting boundaries, and learning how to be assertive in that communication. That's such a big thing. So this saying no, learning how to say no is really big. It's really big. And you can probably find your superpower within it. If it's setting boundaries, if it's ignoring, if it's shutting down just for a little bit. Sometimes it's getting into your corner. I have to retrieve into my corner sometimes, my corner, not literally a physical corner, but could be my prayer closet. It could be, I don't know, going into my bedroom and closing the door, or coming downstairs to my basement and sitting out in my sitting area. Could be in my kids' game room. People in this house will find me. They will find me, which is okay. I mean, but at least in the 5 minutes that they're looking for me, it gives me 5 minutes to have a reset. Learning how to say no is so big, so big. But self-care within itself, in this bubble, this umbrella, is really big too. You know, we can't do and handle everything. So, you know, again, find your chair, do what works for you, learn how to set the boundary, find your peace in all of this. Some misconceptions about self care, especially in the saying no department, which is very much tied to that, is, you know, um, it's selfish. I feel like that I'm being selfish, or, well, I can't do this thing, and, there's just not enough time in the day. Well, that goes with time management, number one. Number two, it's a selfless act. I think you're selfish when you don't take care of you, you know? I mean, I enjoy going to get my nails done, my toes done, and my daughter does too. Um, and there are times where I want to be by myself to go and get those things done and taken care of. Well, when you have people who like to ride with you, which my kids do, and that's okay. I still have to be able to make space and time for me at, some point, because I need that. So I may ask their dad to just watch them, just, let me go have my day, and then mommy will take you next week to go and get that done. Do I feel kind of bad in some kind of way? I really do. I do. But I walk out feeling better, walk out of the salon feeling better, that I've been able to kind of have that time. And I love my kids. They know that. But sometimes mommy needs her me time, you know? And you, man or woman, you need your time. And I even tell my couples, in as much time as you guys spend together, spend some time apart. Have a reset. It's okay. She's in her box, he's in his box. You need that. You need to have that reset. Self-care is so big. It's a big thing. It's a very powerful thing. But some of the misconceptions about self-care, again, coming into it's, being selfish. Um, True self-care is about being able to maintain your well-being so that you can function. That's the thing. You need it so you can function, so you can thrive, so you can grow. It's not selfish, it's just, it's important. It's expensive. Well, you can do things that are free, you can do things that are not expensive, again, from journaling to painting. I mean, you can go to the dollar store and get paints and a journal. You can do that. It doesn't have to be a lot, you know? Pamper yourself, make yourself feel good. Again, we walk into this thing of setting boundaries, learning how to budget our finances, maybe making a pot where it's just self-care stuff, and that's your thing to do. Self-care can be ordering a pizza, staying in, watching a favorite show or movie, and maybe having a glass of wine. That's your thing. That's self-care. You're unwinding. You're putting yourself in a space and in a position to where, you've shut everything out and off, and it's just you, and you're just, again, you're in your chair, you're on your couch, and you're learning how to take care of you, and that's okay. Taking time off work, having a mental health day every other month or something like that, taking a vacation. When was the last time you went on vacation? When was the last time you said, you know what, let me just do a staycation this weekend? When was the last time you did that? Go on vacation. Treat yourself. It takes 21 days to make a habit. Make a list of 21 things you would like to do for yourself. And these could be things that you've done before, that you've gotten away from, things you may want to try. Could be anything from buying yourself flowers to taking yourself out to dinner, taking yourself to a movie. It doesn't matter. 21 things. Do those things, one thing a day for yourself. Getting up early, sleeping late, whatever that is. Do it. And no, self-care is not the same for everyone. It's not going to be, because you are you and they are who they are. But I will tell you, when you allow yourself to fall into taking care of you, it's going to change how you look at and view everything. You're going to learn how to be assertive. You're going to learn how to say no. You're going to learn how to communicate and set boundaries. For the lifestyles of different people, if you're at work, take breaks. Get up and walk around. Don't look at emails when you're off work. Trust me, that stuff will be there when you get back the next day. It's not going anywhere. Start putting things on a calendar and going, oh, you know what? It's Taco Tuesday. Let me take myself out to a Mexican restaurant. Or I got this book club that I'm doing every Wednesday, and I'm doing that. That's my day. When you can block your time, and I've taught people this, when you can block yourself time or day, that's all you think about. That's all you worry about is your block of time. If your block of time is from 1 to 3, then do something between 1 and 3. You don't worry about anything else, because that's your block. Do for you within your block. If you're a caregiver, a parent, again, set a routine for yourself. Caregiving within itself is hard. You need the reset. Go to a concert. Think about, taking up, Pilates or something. Do some deep breathing exercises. Hang out with a friend. Again, if it's going for a jog, if it's Sometimes going to Walmart, going to the grocery store for me is a great reset for me. I need that. My kids love to go to Walmart. No, today is my day. I want to be in Walmart for 5 hours. That's what I'm going to do because I need that break. I need that reset. And if you're one of these people like me who work from home, oh my goodness, learn how to get up and take a break from the computer. Whatever that means, whatever that looks like. I go for a walk every morning before clients, and I try to get another one in toward the end of the day because my son likes to go walking too. But most importantly, I have a dedicated space for my work area. So when I'm done for the day, I'm done. I don't see this office anymore until the next day because there's so much thickness down here, the energy. I got to get out of here. You know, one thing, the positive that comes out of self care again is understanding that your worth and your value in this because you're worth being taken care of. And again, protecting your peace because if you're not taking care of you, you can't, especially if you're a parent, you can't take care of your kids, you can't take care of anything else if you're not looking out for you, if you're not demanding that cup becomes refilled, then you continue to pour out, and a empty cup is very ineffective. An empty cup cannot quench your thirst. It's just an empty cup, so it has to be refilled. It has to be refilled. So I want you to think about some of these things. Think about the signs of when you need self-care. If you're irritable, if you're depressed, you start having negative self-thought, if you're losing interest in things, tired, stressed, your sleep habits are changing, you're getting sick often, you're procrastinating and forgetting, you're isolating maybe, you're not enjoying life, like nothing has any meaning and purpose. Maybe you need a reset. Maybe you need to take care of you. And that's okay. Yes, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to neglect you. Don't give yourself permission to do that. Take care of yourself. Self-care is so important. So important. Again, it's how we thrive. It's how we grow. I would say this. Exhaustion is not a badge of honor. Say it with me. Exhaustion is not a badge of honor. It's not. It's not a trophy. Burnout is not a trophy. It's a warning sign. Think about your mental health. Depression, anxiety, the worry, all because of the stress, all because we're not taking care of us. We need to change that. Granted, we want to do things for people and we don't want to say no, but think about what that means and how that affects you. There has to be a balance someplace. People who got 3 and 4 jobs. The Bible tells us that God is our provider. And I think we forget that sometimes. He's going to always provide for you. There's no need to overdo it. You've got to put yourself first. You've got to not neglect filling your cup, you've got to be aware, you have to be aware of how you're feeling, how you're not feeling, how you're functioning, how you're not functioning. You've got to be able to reclaim your rest. Self-care goes a long way. Because when we're able to take care of us, then we have better relationships. They're healthier. They're not toxic. We're more self-aware. When we're not taking care of ourselves, we're the meanest, the grouchiest, the most forgetful, I can't go on anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Well, because we're burnt out. Burnout is real. I can remember experiencing burnout probably before I really got into doing therapy. And oh my gosh, when I worked case management, going out to homes, I mean it's like social work. I was so exhausted, I was so depleted, and I don't think I understood why. And so I literally had to pull myself back from doing therapy for probably a good year or two, because my mind, I couldn't function. I hated it. But once I took the break, once I learned how to take care of me and find a balance, it made the biggest difference. The biggest difference in the world. So I get back into therapy and I'm full throttle in it. And I learn how to balance it now. Again, even working from home, I have to be able to take my breaks where I need it, because it could be kind of exhausting if you're not, you know? So take care of you. Take care of you, and be good to you and be nice to you. And again, tap into some of these resources. Again, ABCs of self love, communication skills for healthier boundaries, journaling, painting, going for a walk, talking to a friend, going to therapy, putting some things on a calendar for you where you can set a routine where every Thursday you're doing this, or every other Thursday you're doing that, or whatever that looks like, you know. But take care of you. I mean, granted, yeah, we want to push through some of these things, but think about what pushing through, how that affects you. Can I leave this here until the next day? You probably can. I'm sure you can. Think about what it's like to say, okay, I'm just going to sit this here and I'll come back to it tomorrow, and how you feel about that. Your homework for yourself, for you to do, is to write down 21 things that you can do for yourself for the next 21 days. That one thing a day. What is that? Anything. Buying yourself a flower, or maybe getting some exercise in if you wanted to do that, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, things that you want to do, haven't done, wanted to try, whatever, your outlets. Make a list of your outlets and start participating in those things. Because to sit here and say, oh, it's hard to take care of me, it's only hard because you're not allowing yourself to do it. Because we're so busy trying to handle and take care of everybody else and every other thing. Well, what about you? If you set a cup on a table and you say you poured water into that cup, you filled it, and every time somebody asks you to do something, you poured a little bit out of your cup. Every time somebody says something, you pour it out of your cup. Somebody wants something else, you pour a little bit out of your cup. And take a look by the end of the day how far down that water got. Think about it. And it's like, okay, well, but nobody's offering to fill up my cup. I'm like, I'm nearly depleted. Like I hardly have anything left for myself. And it shouldn't be that way. It should never be that way. Take care of you, please. Because if you don't, because there's only one of you. At the end of the day, it's only one of you. But you've gotta be able to tap into this space that allows you to have peace. Your chair. Who or what is your chair? Is it jogging? Is it reading a book? Is it taking yourself to a movie? Is it talking to a friend? Is it tapping into therapy? Or it might be just sitting for 5 or 10 minutes. What is your chair? I was watching this commercial, and it was a tea commercial, and these people, they would go up to I guess I can call it the dispenser or the vending machine. And in order for you to get a tea, you had to put your phone in, and once you did, it locked. And so there was this one particular lady, and she stands out so much to me every time I see that commercial. She's really trying to get this phone back. She's like, "Oh my goodness!" And she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna buy into it, you know." So she has her tea and she sits on the bench, and she is just, I could even feel it through the TV, like every piece of stress and heaviness that she carried was disappearing, like it was going away, because she allowed herself to sit, to drink her tea, and to just be one with nature. She literally goes, wow. Like, I needed this. This is what it's like to take a break. Is this what it's like to take care of me? I could feel that, and so I get that, and I understand that. What is it like to take care of you? Discover that for yourself, please. Please. Because again, you deserve peace, happiness. You deserve to take care of you, no matter who you are, man or woman. You know, if you need resources, reach out for resources, but the help is out there. Are you going to reach out for it? Are you going to allow yourself to have some good self-care this weekend? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Tap into your homework. Do that homework for yourself. I think you will find it very refreshing. Doing something for you, and you're getting into the habit of saying no and setting those boundaries, because that's the thing. It's kind of like drawing the line in the sand, and we get it. You know, we want to do, but to be honest, I mean, yeah, you can do those things, but where's the balance? You know, where's the balance at the end of the day? Reclaim your rest. Reclaim your rest. Listen, I appreciate you. If no one else has said it today, I appreciate you. I love you. I think you're great. I think you're awesome. You deserve peace, happiness, joy. I'm glad that you took the time to stop by the couch today, because, man, I think you needed that. You needed that reset. And it's always great to have a reset. Just, you know, kind of like what is it? The Atari or the Nintendo, you know, where you push the reset button. You need that. Reorganization, declutter, heal. Healing, so big, so important for you. But listen, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to have you here with me. We can do this again next Thursday at 7 here on Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting. And I hope that whatever you hear resonates and it gives you some much needed meat to carry you until you come back again on Thursday. But hey, this is where we meet. This is where we get to unwind and vent out the day and just hang for a little bit. But hey, listen, enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the weekend. Do something for you, please, this weekend. Do your homework. Do something for you this weekend. And Lord's will, I will see you back here again next Thursday, 7 p.m. on Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM, where there is always something good to talk about. See you soon.